Let's go down, down in the river to pray.
Good morning. Welcome to worship here at Seaview, which stands for Coastal Virginia Unitarian Universalist. My name is David Kidd, and I'm a member of the board and the president of this congregation. For those of you who are newcomers today, whether it's here in person or on Zoom, Seaview is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association, a denomination that is part of a liberal religious tradition that goes back hundreds of years. Seaview offers an open door to all who recognize and honor our principles and the values from which they are derived: interdependence, equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, justice, and love, which is at the center of our values. These are values which call us to action and which make us accountable to one another. Here at Seaview, our commitment to the work we are called to do through these values is demonstrated in our mission, which is to provide a nurturing community, foster courageous spiritual growth, and inspire compassionate action. It is with that love and commitment that we welcome all of you, member, friend, visitor, and everyone in between, to worship at Seaview and be a part of this journey with us. Our worship theme this month is pluralism, and the title of today's service is Remembering More Than Just Boots, and it will be led by Jake Hearan and Liz Grunewald, our worship services associate. Also assisting with the worship today are Crystal Lennon and Bree Cahill. For the time being, those of you who prefer to mask and who prefer to sit near other people who mask, we have set aside the balcony as mask-only seating during the worship service. This does not mean that people who want to mask can't sit wherever they want, but we just want to make sure that people who want or need to mask can feel comfortable in our space. This is just one more way we can be welcoming and inclusive to the many individuals who want to be a part of this community. For those of you who want to sit in the balcony and do not have a mask with them, some masks have been placed up there for your convenience. After the service, you're all invited to attend an in-person coffee hour in the social hall. Next week, the title of the service is Awaken the Sleeper, and it will be led by Reverend Viola Abbott. I hope you will join us. And once again, thank you for being with us this morning, and we hope you will stay for the coffee hour.
Our opening words today are "We Remember and We Pray for Peace" by Jennifer Cottrell. Each week we bring our joys and sorrows to this community, that our sorrows may be carried with the support of others and our joys may be magnified. On this Sunday before Memorial Day, there is one great sorrow that we collectively share, the sorrow of those individuals in the armed services who lost their lives in war. Today we remember them and grieve their loss. We remember those who joined the armed services by choice and those who had no choice. We remember those who fought in wars with just cause and those that had no just cause. We remember those who sacrificed their lives for wars they believed in and those who sacrificed their lives for wars they did not. We remember those who have gone missing and were never found. We remember those civilians who have died as collateral damage in wars. We remember the loved ones those lost have left behind. We pray for world leaders that they make wise choices that prevent wars. We pray for those around the world who are currently suffering the ravages of war. We pray for the peacemakers who strive for the end to many conflicts around the world. We remember, and we pray for peace. And now let us worship together. Unitarian Universalists worldwide begin their services by lighting a chalice. Today, our chalice will be lit by Oliver. Oliver is 7 years old and in grade 2, or second grade. Oliver's hobbies include a lot of things. And Oliver's favorite book is The Three Little Pigs. And as the chalice is lit, let us join in saying these words. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. And now please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, 352, Find a Stillness. In addition to the caring team, as part of the caring ministry of this congregation, we also have pastoral associates who are available for you to talk to if you have the need. In light of the fact that this is Memorial Day weekend, I would like to share with you an adaptation of Prayer from Memorial Day written by Wayne B. Arneson. Spirit of life, we gather this Memorial Day weekend surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. First among them are those we remember this day who have lost their lives in war, members of the armed forces, civilians in service, innocent bystanders, children. Those who share our homeland are remembered today in this country, but the ritual is repeated on other days in other countries all over the world. For those among us who have loved those lost, as family members or as friends, as they served our homeland, this day is a reminder that mourning and honoring never ends. For their service and their sacrifice, we pause in the silence of memory and respect. We cannot forget the other witnesses this day, all those who currently serve in the armed forces. We pray for their safe return. We give thanks for all those who returned from service, who know war's aftermath and the toll that it can take on the human heart. Though this Memorial Day is dedicated to those lost in war, all the beloveds we have lost are present to us this day. We hold their names and their faces in our mind's eye. We recall the gifts they gave to us through the strength of their being, the depth of their love, the courage of their dying, and the fullness of their life. I invite you now to say the names of those known to you and loved by you whose lives were lost in service. So I invite you to speak those names into the sanctuary. And if you are on Zoom, you may type those names into the chat and they will be read into the sanctuary. In the holy quiet of this hour, surrounded by all these witnesses who live with us in blessed memory, we return with them once again to the silence in tribute to all they have meant to us. May each of us draw upon whatever gives us strength and hope, whether it is the God of many names or no name at all, the great force that courses throughout and is the universe, the divine spark within each of us, or this community that we love and value, as we hold in our hearts all that has been spoken into this space this morning, in person and online, and all that has not. But may we in particular find solace in the fact that we are here to journey with one another, to share in the sorrows and rejoice in the joys. We will now close our time of prayer and reflection and honor the different faith journeys we represent here in song.
Okay, young at heart, young at heart, would you like to come up for the middle message? Got some of you back there. Taryn. All right. You want to come up? Yeah. There were more before you. Thank you. No, yeah, Reverend Mark's not here today. I'm doing it. All right, so we got Memorial Day tomorrow. Yeah. You can sit over there or over there. So the first guiding question I have is, what are the armed forces? You got an answer? Oh, River?
Well, I know, I'm just gonna say one, even though I know all of them, but it's the Coast Guard.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Anybody else? Okay.
Like people who fight in a war.
Yeah, that's correct. What is Memorial Day? Oh, River again?
It honors the people in the armed forces.
Yeah, good one. Anybody else? Okay. Oh, we got Oliver.
A special day when we remember all the people who died in wars and helped the past change to this place.
That's really good. Okay. So why do we celebrate Memorial Day? We've had a little bit of why it is and who it's about.
Because they're the ones who helped this country win. And some of them were kind of forced.
Okay. Anybody else? How about young at heart? Does anybody want to answer that? How do we celebrate? No? Okay. What flower, I think it was up earlier, but what flower is the symbol of Memorial Day? Do you know? Oh,
Poppies.
yeah. Does anyone know why that is? Yeah?
I was talking about it earlier, but it's because for some reason they planted a bunch of poppies in the middle of nowhere.
Close. That's close. You did overhear me talking about this. Does anyone, young at heart, does anyone know? Ooh, hold on. Mm-hmm.
The poppies grew on a battlefield, Flanders field, and they are there to remember the dead.
Yes. Field in Flanders. It's from a poem by John McCrae, and I thought it might be good. We could read the poem. So I am going to pick somewhere. You've been picked. Yes, you have. You get to read the first paragraph, and then you can pass it on to somebody else. You don't have to read all of it.
In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row that mark our place. And in the sky, the larks still bravely singing, fly scarce, heard amid the guns below.
Someone's got to read it.
We are dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved. And now we lie in Flounders fields.
Take up our quarrel with the foe to you from failing hands. We throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep. Those poppies grow in Flanders field.
All right, thank you. Thank you for reading my the poem. You did good. Yeah, thank you.
Now comes the time in our service when we invite you to make financial gifts to benefit and sustain the ongoing ministry of this church. And I believe we have a member of the board who wants to speak for a moment on where we are.
Good morning, everyone. I'm David Kidd, president of the church, and I want to tell you all a little bit about financial information that's coming up. There is a special board meeting on Tuesday night, and we have to make some very difficult decisions at that meeting. I want to thank everyone who has done their pledges for this year. Your pledge is a promise for what you're going to do to support the work of this church financially in the coming year. And we still have around 40 pledges remaining. And if only, 10 of those pledges came through, we might be able to make our budget. But right now we have a budget shortfall, and we're going to have to make budget cuts. So it's a very difficult meeting, special meeting that your hardworking board is having to do this Tuesday. So I want to make a plea for those of you who have not yet committed a pledge, which is different from your giving. It's different from your contribution. Your pledge is your promise that you're going to continue to give over the coming year, and that way we can plan what we're going to do with our funds, our resources. This helps us do music. This helps us put up a playground. It helps us have religious education, so many things. For those of you who have supported us, and you've done so in incredible ways, some of you have raised your pledge, and we really, really appreciate that. But we are still short. And so if you can do a pledge today, if you haven't done that, please do so. I'll be here after the service, and I'm happy to help. We really need your support, and thank you for those of you who have pledged.
The ministry of this church not only consists of what we do within these walls, both real and virtual, but what we do that extends beyond these walls. One way that we do that is through our generosity. Each month, we will share 50% of the money collected as the offering that is not dedicated as a pledge payment. It is hoped that this will lead to greater connections and wider impact. The organization that we are giving to this month is Divine Inspiration Outreach. This is an organization in Chesapeake serving single women in crisis, ages 18 to 65. These women are past the emergency shelter phase and are getting ready to get into supportive housing. The women assisted by Divine Inspiration are given help to overcome trauma and supported with life skills and boundaries training, budgeting and saving skills, and employment help. Supporting organizations such as this one is just one way for us to live our principles that honor the inherent worth and dignity of all people and justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Giving our time, talent, and treasure to the organizations that matter to us and that improve our lives and the lives of others is a spiritual practice for those who call ourselves Unitarian Universalist, and one that we should not shy away from. More importantly, it is necessary to our survival. If you wish to donate by cash or check, you may deposit your gift in the basket as it comes around. If you would like to give electronically, the screen behind me provides a variety of ways that you can do that. And as you set your intention for giving, we will listen to another musical selection. Your donations will be gratefully received. I thank each and every one of you for your generosity. Our reading this morning is The Gift of Remembrance by George A. Tiger, and it begins with a quotation from Archibald MacLeish from 1940. The young dead soldiers do not speak. They have a silence that speaks for them at night and when the clock counts. They say, "We were young, we have died, remember us." The Gift of Remembrance by George Tiger. I met Scott's father a year after he was killed. It was a pilgrimage for me. I drove 1,000 miles, every moment wondering if he'd see me as a symbol of the system that had taken his son. When he and his wife met me in their front yard, Mike and I hugged tightly for too short an eternity. As an Army chaplain and therapist, I understand the spiritual, psychological, and physiological foundations of trauma. I can talk for hours about how the body keeps the score, about vagus nerve response, about the flight, fight, or freeze mechanism. I can reflect with you about the spiritual meaning of loss, grief, and suffering, how they fit in your life, and how they can burden the soul if held too tightly. I understand all this, yet not a day goes by when something doesn't bring to mind a young life now gone. Ghosts of what might have been are my everyday companions. I will not let them go, for I fear if I do that I will forget. I'm greeted when least expected with waves of unbidden grief, a tightness in the throat, vision blurred a bit by welling tears, a little tremor in my hand. All things that remind me that I will not forget. How many children lost, how many parents grieve. These memories, these ghosts, are necessary reminders of the futility of war and the desperate need for peace in our world. The memories which come upon me not as thoughts, but as bodily sensations, have deepened my compassion and steeled my commitment to bringing peace to this suffering world. I serve in the U.S. Army. I support the readiness of those who have and will fight and win the wars our civilian leaders call us to fight. I love the people I am called to serve, knowing full well the dreadful reality we will one day face again. How then can I speak of peace? This is the difficulty of a holiday like Memorial Day. Memorial Day is not to be celebrated. It is to be observed, scrutinized, and witnessed on behalf of the true witnesses of our human failure to love our neighbor as ourselves. They are ghosts now, haunting lives with the gift of remembrance, so that we will not forget their living, but even more, that the grief of remembering will create in us a yearning for peace that will stir us to action. Gracious God, living Spirit of love, give to me compassion steeled with commitment, that I might become your peace given in loving sacrifice to our troubled world. And now, please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our centering hymn, 183, The Wind of Change Forever Blown.
Change forever blown across the
shall we reach the great unknown nirvana of the lotus throne. Our speaker today is Jake Hearan, who will be with us via video. Jake is of Blackfeet and Sámi ancestry and grew up in Austin, Texas, before moving away to attend college and enlist in the Army. The Unitarian Universalist Association approved his entry into the Army Reserve Chaplain Candidate Program while studying at Union Theological Seminary. His ministry has spanned Turtle Island to include a prison internship, hospital residency, and congregational work, in addition to chaplaincy for defense and Native communities. He is currently a Doctor of Buddhist Ministries student, focusing on the spiritual well-being of transitioning service members.
Call me to ministry a few times throughout my life, and for the most part, I brushed it off each time because it sounded like something else. Tree branches rustling in the wind, even though I'm inside an office building on the 15th floor. Yeah. Or that high-pitched, high-frequency whine of electronics. Even though everything is off. Yeah, that TV is definitely off. This time, they made sure that there would be no mistake. I just got back to the Special Forces compound where I was assigned, having gone home during lunch to grab a few things that I would need for the tournament in Portland that I was going to after work. Like rugby boots. Can't play rugby without rugby boots. And by no means am I Olympic squad material. On my best day, I'm not even all Army squad for that matter. But it was better than regulation PT. Now, I mean, we didn't do that anyway, but it's still better. But so I'm turning around right as I click that key fob to lock the door. That's when I heard the call clear as day. The Heyoka, thunder being, thunderbird, however it gets translated, they issue calls of ministry, of vocation, of destiny, and they made sure that I would hear this time. Various other spirits, I'm sure, I know that all my ancestors were right behind me, urging me on. And yeah, because I immediately went into this autopilot mode. And instead of going down to my office once I was inside, to the secret squirrel vault where all the intel and other people are, yeah, no, I headed straight into the group chaplain's office. I demanded to know what I needed to do to become an Army chaplain. It was happening. Nobody was going to tell me no. And absolutely nobody is surprised when I say that it was a whole bunch of paperwork. Even worse, because I could not wait a moment longer. Now that I'd actually heard the siren song and could recognize it, I insisted that I immediately break my enlistment to commission in the reserve for their chaplain candidate program, rather than finishing out my time as an engineer. So I ended up doing even more paperwork. That's how much I wanted this. Now, let's fast forward from Halloween to a particularly cold February morning. So I'm crossing that same parking lot to the office when I hear someone yell, "Hearan, Sergeant Major and the boss want to see you." Time now. A lot more authoritative considering it was like a football field away, it felt like. Never have I been called into the office like that. And my mind is already starting to work up that worst case of worst case scenarios. And that's something I never do. I am not that kind of person. But what's on my mind right now is I'm about to get on a flight next day to fly to Boston and New York. I'm going to meet with the federal ecclesiastic endorser for the UUA. I'm going to tour some seminaries that it applied to. Now, while they cannot deny someone's leave without just cause, people in the Army can get mighty crafty when it comes to putting something off. So, as I'm sitting there preparing myself to stand on the commander's mat for a dressing down of a lifetime, in walks the group commander and the group surgeon, like they were normal people. No one yelling a command to stand up, no dog and pony show, pomp and circumstance, none of it. Now, once that storm of silence finally dissipated, they told us that they actually came from the hospital just now, where a soldier had died in an incident in one of our own motor pools that morning. Each of us had knowledge or a job relevant to the incident, such as how I oversaw training, licensing, and recertification of military vehicles and equipment as one of my additional duties. So the commanding general of U.S. Army Special Operations Command ordered us to conduct a safety investigation, completely separate of any of the other punitive investigations that the military police and whoever else was conducting. We were purely looking at safety for all of this. Now, when we think about the deaths of service members, I doubt an accident in home station comes to mind even for those of us who have laced up our own set of boots and served. It would be like thinking of somebody dying because a vending machine fell on them during in the lunchroom. It's just not done. I'm not saying it's impossible. We usually think of something like Pearl Harbor being attacked and how we rallied together against the evils of the world, or maybe the Rangers fast roping out of a Black Hawk and kicking in doors and assaulting the objective. All those things that Hollywood makes a movie about. I don't think that they're going to include a soldier whose shoes malfunctioned due to wear, right as the ladder he was using also malfunctioned, causing him to tumble into harm's way. But is that not what we're here for today? To honor the fallen. Those who have died while in service to this country, and for some, to the world. But to really do that, really honor them, it would be helpful if we got a sense of why these people served in the first place. What compels someone to raise their right hand and say, "Here I am, send me"? What made them put on a uniform? What made them lace up their boots and walk out the door, not knowing that they would come back that night? Hopefully they would. And one of the most succinct ways that somebody has described this I'm actually going to borrow from the Jack Reacher stories. And in the movie that they made, Jack Reacher says there are 4 types of people who join the military. For some, it's a family trade. Others are patriots. They're eager to serve. Next, you have those who just need a job. And then there's the kind who want the legal means to kill. Now, that is a oversimplification, and it only applies to our modern volunteer force, but it's a decent starting point. So those who treat the profession of arms like it's a family trade have so many yellow ribbons wrapped around their family tree that you can't even see the bark. They probably have something named after them at West Point or Texas A&M or the Citadel, or maybe even on a base. And then the patriotic, there's 2 different perspectives about service here that I've seen. Those who outwardly focused care about, those who are outwardly focused, they care about America and everything that our national mythos says we stand for. So not only are they willing to defend America from a foreign threat, they will also help others learn without reinventing the wheel or learning how to make boots. Now, those who are inwardly focused, they're eager to serve because they care about contributing to their neighbors. These are the individuals you often see exemplified on the National Guard commercials, responding to a natural disaster affecting their community. And then those who see the service as an avenue to a better life, it could be moving towards something, could be trying to leave something. While the first 2 reasons had long been applicable for me, I was very much looking at the Army as a job by the time I signed my contract. I had usable health care for the first time since I stopped qualifying for WIC, Associated Care, 20 years before that, I believe. And I definitely could not have completed my 2nd master's and now the classroom portion of my doctorate without the help of the GI Bill. But my father, on the other hand, he lied about his age to enlist in the Navy in order to escape the toxicity and abuse of his own father. The fact that he said up until his dying day last year that he preferred SEAL training and Vietnam to staying home is just mind-boggling, and yet I actually believe it, having met him. And now, while there are measures in place, and recruiters actually do try their best at some of this, to prevent toxic individuals from finding legal means to harm or kill, they prevent them from joining, we still must acknowledge that some make it through. The system is not perfect. We all know that. But as I said, these reasons, they're only applicable to our modern force. Some of the fallen that we actually honor today joined for different reasons that I haven't talked about yet. Like the military service was once viewed by the courts as a acceptable rehabilitation technique. A judge might give an offender the option to go to jail or talk to this recruiter with the hope that that individual would be transformed from a possible hazard to society into someone who can actually function within a team and contributes to the common good, all of the good. And then, of course, the most notable reason that I haven't mentioned yet, no longer applicable, is the conscription or the draft, as we refer to it here in the US. Since before our legal formation as a country until February of 1972, when we became an all-volunteer force, there has been some form of the draft in effect. So it's worth noting that some of the fallen, and possibly even many of the fallen, depending on where we're looking, who we're honoring, are actually people that never wanted to be there in the first place. People who just wanted to go to school or to work down the street, but they died on the other side of the world because we needed somebody to pull a trigger or to assault that hill. But just as it's worth knowing about these who did not make it back, let's also remember that there are those who brought the war back with them in one way or another. So possibly the most tragic reason we have service members dying every day is because of suicide. Now, not just veterans, but also those actively serving, having recently done a casualty notification myself. Watching friends and colleagues contemplate this, processing what may happen to them, to those they left behind, it's one of the main reasons I'm actually a military chaplain. In particular, one individual, even though I only had brief interactions with him, Michael Mantenuto stands out among everybody else. When neither hockey nor Hollywood worked out for him, because he grew up playing hockey and got really good at it, and then ended up starring in a hockey movie, the movie Miracle, about the 1980 US hockey team. Didn't work out, so he enlisted in the Army and became a Green Beret. He saw it as a way to turn around his life after years of struggling with what to do with the drug addictions that he had also unfortunately succumbed to over the years. He wanted to provide for his family that he had, giving them benefits, having a secure job for a change. And he spoke about this as he attempted to launch a nonprofit to help others also struggling, but didn't know what exactly to do. This is all well and meaningful, but unfortunately caught up to him, and he has been added to the statistics. Now, just as reasons for someone to join the service or to remain change over time, so too has the manner of those who have fallen. Fortunately now, suicides outnumber combat-related deaths. And if that weren't enough, know that service members joined for a variety of reasons, and the fallen didn't necessarily die in combat. There are those who actually never made it home. Some of the earliest experiences that I have had with honoring the fallen since entering the service is actually related to searching for them, repatriating missing in action individuals. The Defense POW MIA Accountability Agency lists individuals who are still missing. The bulk of nearly 80,000 individuals are in Asia, but they're also in places such as Africa, Europe. There's actually even a couple in the lower 48. And despite existing only as a photo on a wall, many families are tearfully welcome their service member home. Now, don't mistake my compassion for the fallen as an exercise in apologetics for the military-industrial complex. As someone who might voluntarily attend an officer training course on the same grounds and in some of the same buildings that I had ancestors who were forced to attend classes in. And only a few of those actually managed to leave there. Some still haven't made it back. This country has caused great harm despite some of its best intentions and even numerous safeguards. Honoring those that died while ethically serving does not soften or assuage that fact. They cared for their neighbors, their families, themselves. Many just wanted a better world. We need to remember that and strive for that. Hopefully, one day, all of this will be a memory. The only place where one can find a military chaplain is when they go check out a history book. But this is a time of half-told stories. So may you never forget. Nunjwe and blessings be.
And now please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our closing hymn, 318, We Would Be One.
Join in singing.
Wherever We Are, Love Is by Deborah Hafner. As we enter another week of uncertainty in the world, let us remember that there is only one side, that of humanity, the planet Earth. May we pray for peace. May we raise our voices with our elected officials and engage as we can in acts of resistance. And may we remember to take very good care of ourselves, each other, and those we love. May we remember these words adapted from the Unity Prayer. The light of love surrounds us, love enfolds us, the power of love protects us, love watches over us. Wherever we are, love is. Oliver, would you help us extinguish the chalice? Thank you. I will now say the words for extinguishing the chalice, which will be shown on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you very much for being with us today. I am asked to make sure there is an announcement about the bake sale next week, which is June 7th, and a concert on June 8th, and the annual meeting on June 9th after the service. And I think there's a couple other announcements too.
Okay, let me correct that. It's not a big sale. It's an auction. And it's not on the 7th. It's next Sunday. On the 2nd, number 2, June 2. So we're actually having an auction. So we need people there, not only to bring stuff, but we're going to have a live auction and try to auction this stuff off. And because I hope there's a great bidding war. That's what I'm hoping. So part of that is to help the music department, because some good news, we have now purchased the new license, okay? CCS license. Here's the bad news. I had to go in the red to do it. And because I'm in the red and the budget doesn't start again until July, I can't even buy new music yet. So we need everybody to bring their friends, come to the Joe Jenks concert, and to help support this baked goods auction next Sunday. So the baked good auction next Sunday right after church. The next Saturday, June 8th, is the Joe Jenks concert. You can purchase your tickets on our website. There's a little QR code on that little flyer on the table. You can put your phone on there, and it'll take you right to the website. Spread the word. You can put it on your Facebook, wherever. Just please help us, because this money is going to support the concert series, but also us. So I'm begging. Thank you.
I don't have an announcement, but I have a question. Does this place make a difference in your life? I'm listening to our president asked us to help him keep the budget but he also wants to step it up to provide other things for us. As a former president of this congregation, I know exactly what he's going through. And so if this place makes a difference in your life, you're saying you would like for it to be here. If you want it to be here, there's nobody else to make it happen other than us. So let's get this done.
Thank you, Howard. A lot of talk about food today. That I need to remind you about the Father's Day picnic fixin' sale that Community Table is offering. It's a fundraiser for us to offset some of our costs. We have a menu out there in your seats, and you can peruse our delicious offerings. Chef Michael's special chicken salad, I will recommend highly, and the pimento cheese. Fill out this menu. We'll have it ready for you on the 16th. You can eat it here. You can bring a chair or a blanket and eat out in the yard. You can take it home. But we're cooking for you on Father's Day. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Kat Nash and I'm one of the people helping to put our Pride Fest booth together. And just a reminder, if any of you in the affinity groups would like us to spread the word at Pride, please email me at knnash@0621gmail.com so we can get your flyer printed made, or if you just want to make a QR code that lists basic information about your group, when and where you meet, and any little extra you want. Thank you.